Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports, and the Sharks have beaten the Griquas 47 points to 19 in what was a very dominant performance from the Sharks, and a game where the Griquas really did match up to the Sharks physically wise, and when it was tight, the Griquas definitely were still in the game. But as the game sort of broke apart and got a bit looser, the Sharks just absolutely thrive in those sort of conditions. When you've got the likes of Apelele Fassi and Sigamboze Noche and Cohen Bosch's kicking game, which just gets better, same as Jaden Henry's kicking game, you know, it really just starts to favor the Sharks. And look, to be fair, we'll break down the game a lot, but I think, you know, you'll look at certain stages, and if the Griquas can put in that 18-minute performance that we keep talking about, they can do a lot better than their results have potentially suggested. But before we actually break down the game, please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner there. Smash a like on the video as well. Jump in the comments, let me know what you thought of the game. Right, so you look at it, and it was a dream start for the Griquas as Enver Brandt went over the line in the first minute with Tienus de Beer adding the points. But Faison Bate, on a rare start for him, got over in the 6th minute to sort of make it sort of even the odds up a bit. And after that flurry, it kind of sort of settled down, and the Griquas were doing really well by keeping into the game. But there was a period of, in terms of the game, 15 minutes where the Griquas conceded 4 tries, 28 points. In the 25th minute, Cohen Bosch put in a beautiful up and under, which Werner Koch jumped onto and scored. And then just 4 minutes later, Apelele Fassi put in a kick in behind, which Jal Penke chased very hard, and Tienus de Beer struggled to deal with it. He kind of dove over the ball, left it inside. Jal Penke picked it up and went over. And then there was another, and then just after the halfway point, almost as they restarted, Lekanya went over, and 4 minutes later, Sikamboze had a very nice individual try. I mean, it was classic Sharks, you know, open play, lots of space, some nice offloads, Fassi getting involved. Werner Koch was involved all game, and then Sikamboze Noche just turned on the afterburner, stepped inside very well, beat a few defenders, and he went over. So literally in a sort of, maybe a bit more, in a 20-minute period, you know, they just conceded too many points, you know, 28 points in 20 minutes, and that was the issue. Because the rest of the sort of 60 minutes, the Griquas were in it, and they did score. I mean, Gideon van der Merwe worked tirelessly the entire game, and he got 2 tries towards the end to make it a bit more respectable at 47-19. But it really was a game where the Sharks just dominated pretty much across the park, and as it got looser, the kicking game really worked, and they ran in 7 tries at the end. So you can't really say there was an even contest. But I do think that the scoreline doesn't sort of represent just how hard the Griquas did fight. And if you look at the stats, I mean, it was 56 possession to 44. So it wasn't like it was, you know, 80-20. The Griquas did have possession. 6 defenders beaten by the Sharks, 3 by the Griquas, 3 clean breaks by the Sharks, 4 by the Griquas. And you look at the defense, and this is where the issue is. The Sharks were asked to make just 33 tackles and missed 6, whereas the Griquas made 74 tackles but missed 12, and that's a bit of an issue. The Sharks won 10 turnovers, so the Griquas just not protecting their ball well enough, whereas the Griquas won just 5. And then in terms of the breakdown, the Sharks won 48% of their rucks, whereas the Griquas won 48% as well. Mauls won 6-5 in favor of the Sharks. Set plays, lineouts lost 4 by the Sharks. It wasn't their strength today. 2 lost by the Griquas. Scrums won 2 by the Sharks, 5 by the Griquas. So I mean, this is what I'm saying. So the set pieces were all Griquas. Their lineouts were better, the scrums were better, but in open play, when it got a bit looser, that was where the Sharks thrived. Penalties were the same as well, 11 all in terms of that count. So if you look at the players, man of the match was Sikamboze Noche. His game was 47 meters across 7 carries, as well as 5 tackles, no missed tackles as well. In terms of on the attack, big ball carries for the Sharks. Werner Koch made 37 meters. Apelele Fassi made 26 meters. Henko Venter made 30 meters. But lots of carries across the board. Sikamboze making 7 there. For the Griquas, 24 meters made by Enver Brandt, 21 by Edwin Cater. You know, the wings did stand up. James Verity tried hard, and Gideon van der Merwe was very impressive as well. Stefan Willemse always makes meters. He had 4 carries there. In terms of the defense, Gideon van der Merwe, this is what I keep talking about him. He made 14 tackles across the game. He did miss 3, but he also made 2 turnovers. Jan Momsen, 6 tackles. Andre Swart, 6 tackles there as well. For the Sharks, Sikamboze Noche made 5, and he was matched by Oxen Chair. But yeah, so I mean, it was a game where the Sharks dominated, but the Griquas just needs to try and make it tighter, and that was the biggest issue, that they struggled to keep the game tight, keep the game nice and close, because when it was just brawn on brawn, the Griquas really were matching up. And there was a bit of an incident where Jeremy Ward came from the side and was a pretty poor clean out, and he wasn't carded at all. And I mean, look, some people could even argue almost warranted a red card. I think a yellow card probably would have been fair, but it was a shoulder charge from the side. It wasn't particularly good from Jeremy Ward, and I think he was very, very lucky to get away with it, and I think could very well be in trouble in sort of retrospective action there. But for the Sharks, it's a big confidence boost. They'll take this to the Western Province, who did beat the Cheetahs. The Cheetahs are out of the competition, so Sharks, Western Province, Lions and Bulls are the semi-finalists. So the Sharks will be going to play against the Western Province with a chance to try and fight for a home semi-final, which is very important. So the Sharks, very inconsistent throughout the entire tournament, had some very good games, beat the Bulls, and then lost like 2 in a row against the Lions, against the Cheetahs, then came back and thrashed the Griquas. So it'll be a big test for them against the Western Province, but they probably will try and rotate a bit, try and protect some of their main players, because they do have obviously a big semi-final coming up. So yeah, that's pretty much how the game went. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. My name is Steven, and I will chat to you very soon.